Today, Hello, everyone. Hi. Oh, my camera is dark again. What's up? How's it going? I'm fixing it. Hello, hello. I'm so happy you're all here. Howdy. Let's fix this right now. Oh, there we go. Again, same brightness level. I just took it up 1% and then back down 1%. The camera's just like, oh yeah, I gotta be working on a Saturday? Gross. Happy Saturday to all who celebrate. I am quite excited because this Saturday is not like all other Saturdays. This Saturday we are reading The Curse of the Creeping Coffin. Woo! Sorry about hitting that go live button just a few minutes late. I was trying to get it running on YouTube. I thought this would be a good one to do also on YouTube. Could not for the life of me figure it out.
All I know about is football.
I don't know what to tell you. Sometimes I'm like a genius. I'm like, oh, I figured it out and it was so easy. Wow. And sometimes I'm like staring at something and Googling and I'm like, I don't fucking know. I'm sorry. It's running on YouTube, is it? Wait, it is running on YouTube? It said it wasn't. Hold on. This is something I have to investigate now. Oh, no, this is Twitch. This is Twitch. So you're not going to fool me. I'm sharp. I'm sharp.
Am I smart or what?
I was really trying, and they were like, oh. Oh, it is. Oh, my God. Wow. Who knew? Hi, YouTube. Damn, am I smart or what? I think this deserves another one of these.
All I know about is football.
There, hi YouTube. Oh, I just opened up the YouTube chat and I'm looking at the YouTube chat right now. Hello, YouTube. I'm sorry, I didn't think we were live. I didn't think I did it. I can't believe this. Grip it and rip it, baby. Hi, YouTube. Hello. I can't believe I figured it out. It really seemed like I wasn't gonna. It really seemed like I didn't. YouTube was like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like we're getting a stream over here. I don't know what you're talking about. I did it. I multi-streamed. Yay. It was a big day for me, honestly. Can confirm it's working. Well, that's such fantastic news. I'm so excited. I'm gonna make sure the YouTube chat window is within my eyesight so I can glance over and respond to everybody all of the time. It's very important to me as a multi-streamer. Oh, no, that didn't work at all, did it? Okay. Okay, everybody. This, I'm very excited because I just want to make sure that I'm seeing live chat on YouTube. I'm seeing live chat on Twitch. We're all here. We're all excited. Big thank you to everyone last month on Twitch who helped me reach my egg fund goal, my Independence Deg fund goal. That is why we are here doing this now. We have a new fund going right now, the Eggust Fund. We're $50 in. We cracked that egg open yesterday. I'm really excited. And I have a really fun surprise for if we reach our egg fund goal for this month. I'm not going to tell you what it is because it's a surprise, but I will say that the fact that I'm being cagey about it should both intrigue and terrify you. So anyway, that if you want to help contribute to that, that's our egg fund. No big deal. Thanks to those of you on Patreon who voted for which book we were reading. Patreon people still are able to vote for our monthly ramble topic. So that's still up on Patreon. Now you'll have until Thursday for that. And if you haven't checked out my Patreon in a while, I have revamped the tiers so that they more accurately reflect the rewards that people get and include a new benefit for $10 and up tier people, which is a private Jackbox game with you and all the other $10 and up tier people and myself, of course. It would be weird if I wasn't there. Okay. Housekeeping out of the way. We've done it. We did it. Hooray. Go team. Should we read this book? I think we should. Okay. I'm pretty excited because this is not one I'm familiar with. Like a lot of the other ones I've read, I'm like Secret Agent Grandma, I basically had memorized. I was like, oh my God, this is the best one. I know everything about it. The one where they go on the boat, Ship of Ghouls. I have that one like memorized. This one, I don't think I've read it. So we're all gonna be excited and learn fun new things here today, I think. Okay. Let's get started. Oh, it does start with dialogue. So, like, just a reminder, if you want to play the Goose Drunks rules, first of all, do so responsibly, please. Thank you. Second of all, drink if it's stupid, drink if it's scary. Those are the rules. And of course, it does start with dialogue. It's a classic Goosebumps book. That's how you know RL was here. That's it. He put his little stink on it. Okay. I'm bored, you moan. I'm so bored I could eat flies just to see how they taste. Well, that wouldn't help at all. Flies have germs, your grandmother replies. I hope she isn't a major character in this because I don't think my voice could handle doing that for a while. But anyway, flies have germs. It is a hot, sticky day in the middle of July. Oh, wow. We really nailed the timing on this. Okay. You plop down into a creaky old chair in your grandmother's kitchen. Your parents dropped you off yesterday before they left for their vacation, and already you could die of boredom. Your grandmother's old dog, Sparkle, yawns loudly. He crawls under the table. Moments later, he begins to snore. I know just how you feel, Sparkle, you say. You sigh loudly. Why don't you go outside and find something to do? Your grandmother suggests. She looks up from the pie she's baking, classic grandma, and nods toward the backyard. Go out there, you think? Into her backyard? No way. Gross. I don't go outside. I just complain about how bored I am inside. Hi, Bailey. Did you hear the news? Lexi, I don't know what you mean. What news? Is it good news? Okay. That's not what... Oh, wait. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I skipped the entire description of what's wrong with the backyard because I can't remember how to read.
All I know about is football.
This button's getting a lot of use today. Okay. You glance out the window. It's probably 90 degrees in the shade, but you shiver. Your grandmother's house is right in front of an old cemetery. Rows and rows of old, crumbling tombstones sit just beyond the edge of her backyard. But that's not what scares you. What scares you is that the tombstones have been moving. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, that is pretty scary. I'm intrigued. They shouldn't do that. Oh, that's pretty good, Lexi. It's good news. Okay. You noticed it right after you arrived yesterday. You saw the tombstones from your bedroom window on the second floor. You could tell some of the graves had cool carvings on them, so you decided to go outside and take a closer look. But when you entered the graveyard, something was different. Strange. Some of the graves were out of place. Oh, it can't be, you told yourself. Graves don't disappear. But still, from your bedroom window, you could have sworn there were 6 or 7 graves in the back row. Now there were only 3. Nah, you must have counted wrong. You decided to forget it and went to bed. When you woke up the next morning and glanced out the window, the coffins had moved again. Now there were 10 in the back row, and the middle rows seemed more crowded. It almost looked as if some of the graves were moving forward, and some of the graves were moving backward, and there was a big traffic jam in the center. The coffins were rearranging themselves. But how? And why? Why? Your grandmother taps you on the shoulder. She snaps you out of your daydream. Go on, she says. Go play outside. Outside? Out there? You shudder as you glance out the kitchen window again. Oh no, you cry. It's disappeared. What's disappeared? Your mother asks. The grave with the angel on it, you screech, pointing out the window. It's gone. One headstone in particular caught your eye yesterday. It had an angel carving on it. The angel looked so realistic you practically believed she could fly away. Did she? Your grandmother peers out the kitchen window. Don't be a goose, she scolds you. Goose? Goose? Oh, that's Noodle. Hi, Noodle. I was trying to tell Goose to not be a goose, but I can't. I don't see him. Noodle came up, though, when I called. He was like, yes, for me. So close. We are pretty bad at object permanence. We haven't finished developing that part of our brain yet, I think. Feels possible. Hi, Noodle Bug. Sorry, I was scratching his ass and he has his tail wrapped around my wrist. Give me just a second. It's very, very cute. Like the cutest. You gotta understand. This baby boy, he's cute. Hi, you. Hello, little man. Hello, little man. Where are you going? He's going that way. Asked and answered, you know? He's so good. He's gotten really into, like, snuggling at night. So he, like, curls up in my armpit and we, like, go to sleep like that. It's very cute. He's a good boy. I wish Goose would be here, too, because then I could pick him up and go like this. Goose. Okay. Yes, Noodle? Oh, found Goose. He's here. Hi, baby. He's running. Okay. I'm just letting everyone know the status of all the cats. I know it's as important to you as it is to me. You don't answer her. You can't. Your heart is pounding crazily and your mouth has gone dry. You bolt out the back door. You've got to see for yourself. But in the graveyard, you discover that your grandmother is right. The tombstone with the angel isn't gone. It's just moved. It had been in the last row. Now it's up front. I'm losing my mind, you think, losing it completely. Or are you? You run back into the house shouting, Grandma, you yell, that grave with the angel on it. Your grandmother interrupts you. You don't have to shout, dear. The angel? She looks up from her pie crust. That's a nice one. Let me see. Who was buried there? Oh, yes, that's Elmira Martin's grave. Before you can explain about the moving gravestones, a voice on the far side of the room makes you jump. The name is Alvara Martin, the voice says sharply, not Elmira. You never could get my name right. Your mouth drops open. A strange woman now stands in the doorway that leads from the kitchen into the hall. A very strange woman, because she isn't a living, breathing woman at all. She's a ghost! Woo! Yeah, the boys are playing us. Noodle's quite noodly. It also occurs to me that I need pieces of paper to use as bookmarks. I'm going to take from my Nancy Drew notebook that I love so much. And I will pull some of our previous puzzle work that we did, which you can't see at all. There it is. Some of the puzzle work we had to do for a recent one to make our little paper strips to mark our spots so we can go back when we die. It's cheating, or is it? I know, this is so early for a ghost. It's crazy. Grandma, you begin? But from the way your granny is humming to herself, you can tell she doesn't hear or see this scary visitor. And don't you stare at me, you little wretch, the ghost says, pointing at you, or you'll be sorry. What are you going to do? Suddenly you're living in a haunted house. If you run outside, turn to page 18. If you talk to the ghost, turn to page 25. This must be like where the main, like, okay, so in Give Yourself Goosebumps, as we've established, there are usually two main branches, two halves of the story that are two separate stories entirely. And usually it's the first choice you make. This feels very much like a pivotal, like talk to a ghost or don't talk to a ghost. Me, personally, I wish to speak to the ghost. So let's ghost, baby. Page 25. Let's do it. Why are you here? You ask the ghost. But your grandmother thinks you're talking to her. You know why I'm here, your grandmother answers. I live here. Don't be such a goose. For some reason, your grandmother can't see Elvira. You've always wanted to have a special skill, but ghost spotting wasn't what you had in mind. You try to think of a way to ask Elvira a question without having your grandmother think you're completely crazy, but you can't, so you keep staring at the ghost. She glares at you a moment, then motions for you to follow her. You watch as she floats into the hall and up the stairs toward your room. Follow a ghost, you think? Are you nuts? Just the idea gives you a chill. If you follow the ghost, turn to page 49. If you race out of this house fast and go home, turn to page 30. I imagine if we turn to page 30, it's going to laugh at us for being too cowardly to play this Goosebumps book. It's not an insta-death. It isn't. But I am going to say, in for a penny, in for a pound. Let's follow the ghost. We can investigate this later. I'm earnestly following my heart here. And by following my heart, I mean I'm following this ghost. And I'm making my name tag more visible so people know who I am. Whoa, careful. We got a lot of cats going. Okay. You follow Alvara to your room on the second floor. The moment you step into the bedroom, she slams the door. Wow, she can interact with objects. That's scary. Like, ghosts aren't that scary when they can't touch shit. This lady's slamming doors. Then she whirls around to face you. Her eyes turn green and begin to glow. You back up, stumbling, and fall onto the bed. You little wretch, she says. I don't want any trouble from you. Sparks seem to fly from her flashing green eyes. You shrink back into the pillows. Then Elvira gazes around nicely. Yes, yes, she says. Gazes around the room. Yes, yes, she says. This will do nicely. What do you mean, you stammer? Elvira floats toward the bed. She hovers over you. I'm taking over this room now, she tells you. Get out. It's her bedroom now. That's fine. You would love to leave, but you're shaking too hard to get up. Besides, you have to find out what's going on. Elvira is the only one who can explain it to you. Please, you beg. Just tell me why you're here. Why are the graves moving? Shut up, she screeches, and get off that bed. I want to lie down. I haven't slept in a bed in 51 years. That's not that, in the grand scheme of things, that's not really that long. It's fine. I'm not going to criticize her. She's a ghost, and she's great. She doesn't have time to hang out with this 12-year-old boy. Like, she doesn't need this. I get her. Okay. Uh-oh, you realize you aren't just dealing with a ghost here. You're dealing with a ghost in a very bad mood. You jump up from the bed. Elvira lies down, neatly spreading her white satin dress on the covers. Her long red hair fans out across the pillow. Ah, she sighs. A real bed. She shuts her eyes. You hope she doesn't sleep too long. You have so many questions to ask. You hope she'll be in a better mood when she wakes up. She dozes for exactly 2 minutes. Then her eyes pop open. You notice they aren't glowing green anymore. Ah, Elvira says, that's better. Now that she's awake, you're not sure how to begin. You're almost too freaked out to speak, but you have to know. Why are the graves moving, you ask? What's going on? It's the curse of the creeping coffins. That's the name of the book, the ghostly woman answers. And we're moving into the house. All of us. All of us? Gulp. What does that mean? Let's find out. What do you mean, all of you? You manage to stammer. You ask too many questions. Uh-oh. Elvira's eyes flash green again. Don't get in our way, and maybe we'll let you live. She soars up over your head and glares down at you. And don't you go talking to that ghost hunter McFarling either, Elvira adds. Good, thanks, Elvira. That's good. She's Streisand affecting over here. In the next instant, she floats backward and disappears into the wall. McFarling? A ghost hunter? You're startled by loud, clumping footsteps above you. You glance up at the ceiling. The light fixture is shaking. It sounds as if a whole crowd wearing clunky boots is stomping around in the attic. Who could it be? If you want to find out about McFarling, turn to page 16. If you want to find out who's in the attic, turn to page 85. I kind of want to find out about McFarling. We're following our heart, you know? I want to find that ghost hunter. She said not to look for him. I think that's hilarious, and I'm gonna go look for him. There are so many ghosts in the attic. I can't possibly take them all on by myself. I'm just a kid.
All I know about is football.
Can't be doing that. A ghost hunter. That is exactly what you need. But how are you going to find this McFarling guy? You dash out of your room and run downstairs as fast as you can. You rush back into the kitchen. Grandma, you gasp, almost out of breath. Do you know someone named McFarling? Oh, don't go talking to me about Mac McFarling. Mac McFarling? His name is Mac McFarling? No, it isn't, she says. That loon. He came around here last month. Told me he thought my house would be haunted soon. Said something about a curse, too. Can you imagine that? I don't want you going anywhere near that man. Let's face it, Granny's not going to be much help. So, you race into the hall where she keeps her telephone books. You flip through the yellow pages. The yellow pages, can you imagine? I have hair stuck in my mouth, I'm sorry. I don't know what yellow pages are. I'm very young. On a hunch, you look up ghosts. Bingo, there he is, under ghost exterminations. Mac McFarling, ghost hunter. There may be hope after all. As long as you can get out of the house before Alvara finds out what you're doing. Shh, tiptoe out the door on page 33. Luckily, everything in your grandma's small town is within biking distance. 20 minutes later, you've biked over to Mac McFarling's office, which happens to be located in his garage. You knock on the side door of the garage. Come in, a voice calls. You yank open the door. Wow, you think when you see him. Mac McFarling has frizzy blonde hair sticking out all over his head. He's wearing 6 earrings, a nose ring, and a pair of heavy black-framed glasses with blue lenses in them. He's about 20 years old. Wow, that's pretty old. So that's why your grandma didn't like him. He's cool. Hey, what's up? McFarling asks. You look just like you've seen a ghost. He laughs. Sorry, just a little ghost hunting humor. You explain about Alvara and that she told you the ghosts are going to take over your grandmother's house. I've been expecting this, McFarling says, shaking his head. I tried to warn you, grandmother. Can you help us, you plead? His eyes are hidden behind the blue lenses. You can't tell what he's thinking. Will Mac McFarling help you? Yeah, he's a child. He's full child. He sounds cool as hell. Suddenly, McFarling swings into gear. He picks up a strange electronic box and heads for the door. Come on, he says. We gotta hurry. Let's go. Finally, someone who can help you. You feel better already. McFarling jumps into his car, an old VW Bug. So cool. You hop on your bike. As you ride to your grandmother's house, he drives along beside you. He rolls down the window and talks to you the whole time. Hey, have the gravestones been moving around? He asks. Yes, you exclaim. So you're not crazy. Why are they doing that? I'm not sure, he says. I've only seen it once before, but I think they're moving into position to spell out some kind of message or curse. Graves can spell? That doesn't sound possible, but you're ready to believe anything now. How can we stop them, you ask Mac. It won't be easy, he tells you. You were afraid of that. Page 45. First, McFarlane explains, you'll have to find the keeper of the sword. That's one of the ghosts. You need to get the special sword and use it to stop the MPG. What's the MPG, you ask? The most powerful ghost, McFarling says. It's a term for the spirit who has control over a graveyard. Once you have the sword, Mac continues, you must plunge it into the grave of the MPG, but you've gotta hurry, because when all the graves have moved into position and spell out the message, it'll be too late. The curse will be complete, and after that, you'll never be able to get the ghosts back in their graves. Your head is spinning from what Mac just told you, but you nod as if you understand. You've arrived at your grandmother's house. McFarling stops his car and hops out. You get off your bike and park it. McFarling faces your grandmother's house and switches on the funky electronic box he's carrying. Red dials light up. Then you hear a loud beeping sound. Uh-oh, McFarling says. Major trouble. Give me $1. If you give McFarling $1, turn to page 57. If you refuse to give him money, turn to page 74. We gotta give this man $1. He's gonna save us from ghosts, and he's so cool. Also, it's the 90s. Dollars were a dime a dozen. You reluctantly hand McFarling a $1 bill. He folds the dollar in half twice, then he jams it into a tiny slot of his electronic box. A minute later, the beeping stopped. Actually, $1 could really get you far in the 90s. It's the opposite of a dime a dozen. $1 was actually worth money back then. It might be our only dollar. I take it back. I forgot how inflation works. We shouldn't have done this. Then he folds the dollar in half twice. Then he jams it into a tiny slot of the electronic box. A minute later, the beeping stops. The box spits the dollar back out. Thank you, McFarling says. The spirit counter was jammed. He gives the $1 back to you. We're good. Weird, you think, but it does seem to have worked. Then McFarling stares at the red dials on his machine. Bad news, kids, McFarling says finally. By my count, there are 10 ghosts in the house already. That's way over my limit. You're on your own. No! What do you mean there's 10 in the house already and that's over your limit? You're the adult. That's crazy. I can't believe I have to stop doing this accent. I shouldn't have given him $1. He starts back toward his car. Wait, you call after him. You can't leave me here, please. You have to help me. McFarling hesitates for a minute. Then he shrugs. Okay, he says, this is what I'm willing to do. I'll help you make a map of the graveyard. Come on. A map of the graveyard? What for, you wonder? But you don't ask questions. You just follow Mac into the cemetery and do what he tells you. An hour later, you got a drawing of the first 4 rows of gravestones. 127. Oh, there is a... Wow. It's an illustration of the graveyard. It's pretty good. Not that many graves. So we got Rachel Young, Thomas Owen, Patrick Unger, Ben Wong, Elizabeth Ives, John Luckmeyer, Jane Luckmeyer, cute, Mary Dawson, Gregory Ives. Gregory Ives and Elizabeth Ives are not buried together, but the Luckmeyers are buried together. This feels like someone failed a logic puzzle. Archibald Swope, Nancy Ottoman, Chester Ottoman, and Robert North. What happened with the Iveses? Okay. Page 65. You stare down at the... You know what? I'm gonna bookmark this as well, just because it feels like maybe we'll need to reference it. I've played a lot of Nancy Drew games. I know a clue when I see one. Maybe the Iveses had a messy divorce, War says. Maybe. Okay. You stare down at the map of gravestones in your hands. You wonder how it could possibly help you. Oh, big trouble, Max says, peering over your shoulder. The message is already almost completely spelled out. What message, you ask, puzzled. Look at these first 4 rows, he says, pointing at the paper. The rest of the graves don't matter. That's why I didn't put them on the map. Take a pen and circle the first letter of the last name on each tombstone. It spells out a message. Don't you see it? Okay. What's the message? It's, okay, the first letter of the last name of each tombstone. You will die soon. Oh no! They're missing someone with an E last name. We've got to kill that ghost. We did discover the message. We must turn to page 91. We're going to die soon. Well, we're going to die soon. You know. Oh no! You gasp. You stare at the map and at the message spelled out on the gravestones. You will die soon. So that's the terrible message the graves are moving around to spell. And is the you, or is the curse directed at your grandma? I mean, how old is grandma? Let's be real here. Either way, it's super bad news. Mac, you say, there's only 1 letter missing. Only 1 more coffin has to creep into place, and then the curse will be complete, Mac says. He turns and walks back to his car. Hey, wait, you call back after him. He stops, but only long enough to pull out a business card. Here, he says, call me after you defeat the Keeper of the Sword. Then I'll tell you what to do next. Then he jumps back into his VW Bug, leaving you standing in front of your grandmother's house. Oh, he calls as he starts to drive off. 2 things to remember. Be sure to find out the name of the Keeper of the Sword and stay away from the Luckmeyer twins. The Luckmeyer twins, you think? If you've met them already, turn to page 8. If you haven't met them, turn to page 64. That's interesting. We could have arrived at this guy in several different ways, apparently, but we haven't met them. So we're marking the page and we're turning to page 64. Keep away from the Luckmeyer twins. That should be easy, no problem. I mean, we haven't even met them yet, and clearly I know it's possible, so we're doing a great job so far. Twins are pretty easy to spot. Yeah, that's true too, I guess. Then it hits you. Do they always stick together? Are they guys or girls? And how old are they? No way to know. Well, hold on. John and Jane Luckmeyer. You know what? I think we're able to figure this one out. Victoria Rostu, thank you for the follow. Everyone say hello to our new friend and to Gregory Stomp, the Stomping Yoshi, who stomped upon our choices and our hearts. Okay. Maybe this will be more difficult than you thought. You slink into your grandmother's house. You feel creepy, knowing the place is loaded with ghosts. And how are you going to find the keeper of the sword? You don't have a clue. Your head swims as you wander up to the second floor. Bam! A door bangs open and nearly hits you in the head. You jump back and peer into a hall closet. Don't go in there! A voice behind you warns. Is it the bathroom? Did the ghost destroy our bathroom? You whirl around and see a ghost! A teenager from another time. He's dressed in an old-fashioned black velvet suit with a frilly white shirt. His hair is slicked back and combed neatly behind his ears. He's smiling, but it's a sneaky smile. Should you listen to him? If you stay out of the closet, turn to page 12. If you see what's in the closet, turn to page 26. Ooh, I kind of want to see what's in the closet. You're going to trust a ghost? No way. Who knows what he's got up his ruffled sleeve? If this ghost doesn't want you to see what's in the closet, you bet it's something that can help you unhaunt your grandmother's house. You peer into the dark closet. You don't see anything. You glance back at the ghost. He seems nervous. Good. So you walk right into the closet. Ah! There's nothing under your feet but air. You desperately try to grab hold of something, anything, but it's no use. You're falling down, down, down into the darkness. See, your grandmother has turned this closet into a clothes chute. She opens the door and tosses her dirty laundry in. The clothes fall straight down into the basement. That's where the washer is. And it's a 2-story drop. What the fuck, Grandma? The ghost didn't even do this. This was an insane prank that Grandma played on us. And it's a 2-story drop. Get the picture? Now, how would you like to be washed? Hot water or cold? With or without bleach? Because it's time to clean up your act, kid. You're all washed up in the ghost hunting business. The end. We fell to our death. Grandma's crazy. Okay, we're gonna stay out of the closet. It is an expensive reno, correct? We made it pretty far without dying. I'm proud of us. Okay, you decide to trust this guy. He's a little weird looking, but he seems harmless, even if he is a ghost. I'm John, the boy says. You've got to get away from here. That closet is filled with horrible spirits. Well, actually, it's full of a hole, but, you know, it's fine. I guess in this particular, if we make this choice, then it doesn't have a hole in it. Oh, goosebumps. Quick, close the door and hide in the basement. You do as he says, slamming the closet door hard. Then you run down the stairs to the kitchen, then into the basement. Why down here, you wonder, as you look around at the damp, grungy old basement beneath your grandmother's house? You've never liked this place. It's cold, it's dark, but even worse, there are big, ugly crickets. Ew. They get in from outside through cracks in the basement walls. Then they hop all over the basement. You hate them. How come we have to hide down here, you ask? That's when you realize that John isn't with you. John, you call? Bam! You whirl around and see the basement door slam shut. Click and lock. That ghost has locked you in! No! Can't believe this. The first teenager we met ever betrayed us. Help, you cry. Let me out. You turn to see if there's another way out of the basement. Well, if you're willing to climb up 2 stories, gross. Those disgusting crickets are hopping everywhere. There must be hundreds of them. The chirping is enough to make you crazy. They hop from the windowsills. They jump up and down the stairs. They pounce from the sink to the floor, from the floor to a chair. Jump, jump, jump. Ah! One lands on your head. Yuck, you scream. You swipe at your head. Get off me. More greenish brown crickets hop around your feet. It's like a fucking plague of locusts in here. This is scary. I would be scared of this. I was very brave last night. I dealt with a very big spider that was in my house. I'm cool with spiders. I just simply don't want them to be in my house. And I also don't want to deal with them. They move so fast and so unexpectedly. Like, they're very scary. But I was like, this spider is fucking huge. I have to take it outside. It lives outside. And so I grabbed a paper towel and I grabbed a shot glass and I took a couple tries, but I got him in the shot glass and I covered it with a paper towel and I took it outside and I plopped him in a bush and I was really proud of myself. Thank you so much. I'm very, very brave. I know. I did. We call that a spider shot in the industry. What industry? Who's to say? Oh no, we're losing a bookmark. Okay, there you go. Yuck, you scream. Oh, I already did that. The crickets are hopping around at your feet. It doesn't matter. You bang on the basement door. Let me out of here. Heh heh heh. You hear John snickering on the other side. What a creep, you think. Then it dawns on you. Hey, John, you call through the door. What's your last name? Oh, it's Luckmeyer, the ghost answers. Figures. Mac McFarling was right. Uh-oh. John Luckmeyer mumbles on the other side of the basement door. Here comes trouble. What now? You have enough trouble already in the form of a teenage ghoul. Ick, another cricket plops on your head. Let me out, you yell again, pounding on the door. Immediately, the door swings open. Uh-oh, the ghost was right. Trouble has arrived, in a big way. It's your grandma, and she's steaming mad. What in heaven's name are you up to? Your grandmother scolds. Forgot what she sounded like for a second. You glance past her into the kitchen and see what she means. The whole place is a mess. Wait, sorry, we're in the basement? We go to the top of the stair? Oh, okay. I'm getting... The geography of the house doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's fine. There's a special chute that goes from the floor to the down. It's okay. It's fine. Flowers scattered. Yeah, I'm doing really good today, you guys. Can you tell?
I'm in there like swimwear.
Oh, Lobster Sapien, you just subscribed with Prime. Thank you so much. Welcome to the community. Please enjoy your brand new emotes.
You go, girl.
Got us halfway to our weekly sub goal. Very exciting. Okay. The whole place is a mess. Flour is scattered. Nailed it. All over the floor. Pots and pans are stacked on the chairs and tables. Every single item that was in the refrigerator is sitting on the kitchen counter. I like that it's sitting on the kitchen counter. Like, they didn't throw them everywhere. They just, like, took them out like, oh, this is going to be a pain in the ass to get back in there. Try figuring this shit out before it all goes bad. Good luck, Grandma. What on earth have you done? Your grandmother demands, pointing at the huge mess. Behind her, you see the ghostly John Luckmeyer with a big grin plastered across his smirking face. Quick, what are you going to tell her? If you decide to make up a story, turn to page 71. If you tell the truth, turn to page 112. I don't think Grandma's going to believe me. I want to tell the truth. I want it to be some badass, like, Grandma gets on board quick. But I just don't think it's going to happen for us. I'm going to page 71. I was trying to make dinner for you, you say. If you told the truth, she'd think you were lying. Then you'd be in even bigger trouble. Well, your grandmother's face begins to soften. Then John Luckmeyer floats over to you. Before you realize what he's doing, John picks up one of your grandmother's best china teacups. He knocks it to the floor, right by your hand. The teacup lands with a horrible crash. Oh no! You start to open your mouth to explain, but then another ghost appears on the other side of you. This one's a girl. She's wearing an old-fashioned, long, white linen dress. Her hair is braided and the braids are wrapped around her head 3 times. Hello, she says with a snicker. I'm Jane Luckmeyer. Great, you think. Another one, trapped between the Luckmeyer twins. She picks up the china saucer that goes with the teacup John just smashed. Then she tosses it like a frisbee across the room. Somehow she makes it look as if you threw it. That's a pretty gifted ghost. The saucer crash lands at your grandmother's feet. That's it, your grandmother says. Go to your room. Okay, sorry. You hurry into the hall and start up the stairs toward your room, but something stops you. A terrible chill in the air. A cold so cold you feel as if it will freeze your blood and bones. An instant later, 13 howling ghosts appear. They float out of the walls and come toward you. They're all shapes and sizes, but they have one thing in common. They're all terrifying. No, you want to cry. This can't be happening. Your knees shake so much you almost fall down, but somehow you manage to run. Ghostly arms reach for you as you race out the front door, into the front yard where the sky is growing dark. For the next 10 minutes, you huddle under a big tree, trying to think. Mostly you just think one thing, get me out of here. But you know you can't go home. Your parents are away on vacation. Besides, you can't leave your grandmother here all alone, not with those creeping coffins. Which means you've got to go back into that house. You've got to get rid of the ghost, and you've got to find the keeper of the sword before it's too late. Page 102. The stakes have never been higher. Using the back door, you quietly slip into the house. Then you sneak up the back staircase to the second floor. How many staircases are in this file? What do you mean the back staircase? What the fuck is going on in this house? I'm going to need a map of this place quickly. You peek around the corner carefully. You don't want to run into the Luckmeyers. When you're sure the coast is clear, you start up the stairs toward the attic. As soon as you step into the stairway, you see a huge soldier standing at the top of the third floor landing. His uniform is old-fashioned. Civil War, you guess. And judging from the medals pinned to his gray jacket, this guy knows what he's doing. Well, I have to Google something really fast. 1 second. Hold on. Civil War. Who wore gray? Fuck! It was the Confederates! No! God damn it! Why did they? Why on earth? He didn't have to specify that. Now we found a racist ghost. Why did he specify that? Okay. What he's doing right now is pulling a sword from its holder. The sword is about 5 feet long. The handle is mother of pearl, encrusted with sapphires. Wow, we know an awful lot about gemstones for a 12-year-old boy. Even in the darkness, you can see that it's dangerously sharp. The enormous soldier points the sword at your heart. Do not advance one more step unless you are willing to die, he booms. Go to page 104. We have to kill this racist ghost. You can't take your eyes off the sword. The longer you stare at it, the more your legs shake. Then it dawns on you. This soldier must be the keeper of the sword. So what are you going to do? Run and hide? Definitely. Trembling in fear, you start to back up. That's when you feel a sharp point sticking you in the back, right between your shoulder blades. Ouch, you cry out. Turning around, big trouble. Behind you is another ghost, and this one's dressed in a fencing costume. White canvas pants, a wire mesh mask, leather gloves. En garde, the new voice says. The voice echoes all around you. From the voice, you know this ghost is a woman. Then you realize something. She has a sword too. 2 ghosts, 2 swords, both dangerous, but only one has the sword you need. Which one? If you think the fencer is the keeper of the sword, turn to page 99. If you think it's a soldier, turn to page 118. I think that I don't want to give more power to a Confederate ghost than he has. I'm going to say it's the fencer. The fencer is the keeper of the sword. Also, feminism. Fencemanism. Why do all these ghosts have swords? This is so unhelpful. You decide to duel with the woman in the fencing costume. She's not as big as the soldier. On guard yourself, you cry. You notice that as soon as you shouted at the woman, the soldier ghost vanished. Woo, took care of that problem.
Am I smart or what?
There we go. The fencer glides toward you, approaching slowly. You feel around desperately for something you can use as a weapon. The whole time, you keep your eyes glued to the sharp tip of her sword, or rather, her foil. That's what a fencing sword is called. Thank you, R.L. Stein. I was aware of that. The fencer keeps coming toward you, slowly, slowly. Beads of sweat break out along your upper lip. The tip of the foil wavers slightly, as if the fencer were deciding on the perfect spot to stab you. Finally, your fingers grasp something leaning against the wall. An umbrella. It's not much, but it'll have to do. You grab it and strike a fencing pose. En garde, you shout again. The fencer freezes, her foil raised. Then, in a flash, she lunges at you. Quick, find out if you're still alive on page 122. It's not fair. She's wearing armor. The tip of the blade slices right through your neck. Okay, you can open your eyes now. Good news. You're still alive, and you never felt a thing. You know why? The fencer is a ghost. She's not solid. She's airy, see-through, and so is her weapon. Make up your mind, RL. Can these ghosts slam doors and pick up teacups, or can't they? What the fuck? You pick up your umbrella and slice back. You lunge forward, poking your umbrella right between her ribs. But your umbrella has the same effect on her that her foil has on you. None. There's no point in keeping up this duel. Neither of you can win. You put down the umbrella. Are you the keeper of the sword, you ask her? Yes, she says. She reaches up and pulls off her mask. You gasp and your stomach turns over. She doesn't have a face because she doesn't have a head. Yes, this is the sword you need, she tells you. You wonder where her voice is coming from. And I'll give it to you if you can find my head. Is she kidding? What are the chances? Maybe you should just try to grab the sword. If you grab the sword, turn to page 21. If you look for her head, turn to page 62. Fuck it, sounds fun. Let's look for her head. 62. Okay, you tell her. I'll find your head. Wait here. But where should you look? This is going great. Okay, we have to give this woman a head. Let's go. Where should you look? You dash up the stairs to the attic. It's the only room you haven't been in since you arrived, and you definitely would have noticed a head if you'd seen one. You rummage around in the attic. You search through everything, twice. Trunks of old clothes, piles of old furniture, golf clubs, no ghost head. You glance around the dusty room. Think. There may not be much time left. If I were a ghost head, where would I be, you ask yourself. You suddenly spot a large moose head sitting on the floor by a broken chair. You kneel down to examine the moth-eaten moose head. Gross. Up close, it looks even worse. The antlers are cracked and one eye is missing. It's filthy and it has a musty odor. It's not even human, but what choice do you have? It's the only head here. Besides, you're in a big hurry. You've got to get the sword before the coffins creep again. You grab the moose head and race downstairs. You only hope the keeper of the sword won't be furious when she sees the head you brought her. I can't believe this is all we could do. This is bad. Close enough. Exactly. I found the head, you call out when you reach the landing. You clutch the moose nervously. You peer into the darkness, trying to find the headless ghost. The woman's body materializes on the steps below you. Good, her voice says. You still can't figure out how she can talk. Just sit it down right there, on the stairs. Really, you think? This is gonna work? Maybe the ghost hasn't seen the moose head yet. Well, I mean, how could she? What will she do when she discovers what you've done? Trembling, you set the moose head down on the bottom step. You hold your breath. For a moment, nothing happens. Then the moose head begins to shake. At first, it just rocks back and forth a little, but soon it starts to vibrate wildly. The moose head begins to glow as if there were a light inside it. Then a ghostly woman's face appears inside the moose head. You can't believe it, but there it is, the face of a beautiful young woman trapped within the dusty old moose head. Wow, you did it! You actually found the head!
Am I smart or what?
Amazing! Can't believe that worked. You stare at the glowing, ghostly face. Your mouth drops open as the face rises out of the moose head. The woman's face floats up and hangs in midair right in front of you. Oh, merci, the head says. You've released me from my trap. Her eyes are large and bright blue. Her ruby lips shimmer in the darkness. Her long black hair hangs down, falling below her neck. Oh, she's hot. Okay. Her neck, you glance at it and try not to scream. Torn flesh dangles from the bottom of her neck. Blood drips from the ragged edges. Suddenly, you realize what you're seeing. It looks as if her head has been chopped off. Your stomach turns at the sight of her bloody neck. Then you notice the ghost's body is still hovering below you. It floats up the steps and somehow attaches to her head. Merci, she says once she's in one piece. She hands you her foil. I am the keeper of the sword. Take this and use it as you will. Now I must return to my grave. You remember Mac McFarling's instructions. Wait, you call. What's your name? Sarah, she says as her form fades away. Then she's gone. You run to the phone and dial Mac McFarling's number. When he answers, you tell him you've got the sword. Good, McFarling says. Listen carefully. Find her grave in the graveyard. Write down the year of her death. It's a special number. You'll need it. Then plunge her sword into the grave of the MPG. That's the only way to keep the graves from spelling out the curse. Course? Yeah, the curse. There we go. We found it. How do I find the MPG, you ask? Oops, call waiting. Gotta go. He hangs up. Call waiting, you think? What a liar. He just doesn't know how to help you find the MPG. Now what? If you go to the graveyard, turn to page 96. If you think the MPG will come to you, turn to page 125. That is interesting. However, I'm going to the graveyard. We need to find Sarah's gravestone. Hold on. And write down the date of her death. None of these people are named Sarah, and none of them have years on them. That's great. Oh, fortunately, I read the page instead of just going to the map, and that actually does have her name and the thing on it. Also, you will... Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They have all these established ghosts in the graveyard, and they made sure that this lady was not in there. You race out to the graveyard. You've got to find the fencing woman's grave fast. Then it hits you. You only know her first name, Sarah. Sarah who? You run up and down the rows of tombstones, searching for a grave marked Sarah. Naturally, you find two. One is Sarah Grayson, born in 1820, died in 1895. The other is Sarah McGinnis, born 1918, died 1940. It's up to you. Which is the right Sarah? Think very carefully and then pick one. You balance the sword under one arm and feel around in your pockets. You pull a broken pencil from your jeans. You glance down and find a crumpled gum wrapper on the ground. You grab it and with shaking fingers you write down the year of Sarah's death and hope you chose correctly. Okay, so Sarah Grayson died when she was 75. Sarah McGinnis died when she was 22. To me, I think that the fencing woman is Sarah McGinnis, and she was a beautiful young one whose head got chopped off, rather than an elderly lady who died of old age. So, 1940. We have to turn to page 114, if we dare. Everyone remember 1940. You don't like the prickling feeling on the back of your neck. You turn around slowly and gasp. The coffins have moved again. You can tell because you've wandered to the front of the graveyard. You're standing by the first row, the row that spelled out you in the curse. Though they used to only have 3 tombstones, but now the front row is crowded with graves. 7 of them. 4 more coffins have creeped into place. You glance toward the back of the graveyard and notice new empty spots. Oh gosh. It's true. The tombstones are spelling again. Your heart pounds as you run along the row, reading the 4 new names, trying to see what the new initials will spell out. Bannister, Oswald, Thackeray, Hamilton, both. Oh no, now the message reads you both will die soon. It still just says DI though, so that's fine. Quick, hurry to page 31. Your throat tightens in terror. Your heart pounds wildly. Both you and your grandmother are cursed now. Your granny can't even see the ghosts. She won't be able to save herself. It's all up to you. You grip the sword so hard your hand cramps. You've got to stop the coffins from moving again, and you've got to do it now, before the final coffin moves into place and the curse is complete. But who is the most powerful ghost? One more letter, you mutter. Only one more letter is needed to spell out the message. The last letter in the word D-I-E, the letter E. Then it hits you. The most powerful ghost must be someone whose last name starts with an E. Does that make sense? Sure. That's it. You may live after all. You run through the graveyard looking at the tombstone searching for E's. You find 3. Melvin Estep, Melvin Estep II, and Brandon Estep. But which one is the MPG? You could guess, or you could go into the house and ask Elvira for help. If you guess, take a stab at it on page 48. If you ask Elvira for help, turn to page 28. Elvira's not going to help us. She wants to move into our bedroom. We don't have annoying friends in this one, at least in this branch, Jiminy's Journal. We just have an annoying grandmother and a bunch of annoying ghosts. Okay, I'm going to take a stab at it. Page 48. Time is running out. That last coffin could creep into place before you even cross over to a grave. Then it will be all over for you and your grandmother. You're too terrified to think, so you decide to guess. Well, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and guess. Which one is the most powerful ghost? Melvin Estep, Melvin Estep II, or Brandon Estep? I'm just going to pick the first one. 34. You run over to Melvin Estep's grave and plunge your sword into the ground and wait. Nothing happens. Does that mean you've actually done it? Did you put an end to the curse of the creeping coffins? You step back from the grave, leaving the sword standing straight up from the dirt. You take a deep breath. Could it really all be over? Suddenly, one of the other two coffins, one of the other Esteps, starts to move. Oh no, you chose the wrong Estep! It's all over, all right? All over for you! Before your astonished eyes, the headstone creeps across the graveyard. Within seconds, it reaches the third row. When the headstone stops creeping, the word die is complete. And so is your adventure in this book. Complete. Finished. Done. As in the end. Okay. I think we need to ask Alvara for help. It's silly that just guessing is not going to work. But I need to, I didn't mark the page like a fucking fool. A goddamn fucking fool. Oh. Aw. Sorry, okay, there's, you can't really see because my lighting is so bright, but there's a really lovely handwritten birthday note in here. It doesn't say much, but the handwriting's very beautiful, and it says, Happy birthday, JJ, July 25th, 1996. Love, Aunt Grace. Aunt Grace seems cool. This is a cool gift from Aunt Grace. Thanks, Aunt Grace. Okay. We're going to ask Alvara for help and turn to page 28. Happy birthday, JJ. This person is probably an adult who's my age. Big fan of Aunt Grace. Shout out Grace. You decide to play it safe by asking Alvara for help. You turn and race into the house. Your grandmother is watching TV in the den. You dash past her. She doesn't even look up from her program. The eerie light from the television is the only light in the whole house. You hurry up the back stairs to your room. You've got to find the MPG, and there's only one person, or ghost, who might be able to help you. You flip on a light in your small guest bedroom. A piercing shriek shatters the night. Evocative. Now what? Cover your ears and turn to page 15. Turn off that stupid light, Elvira screams. I'm trying to get some sleep. Sorry. You quickly flick off the light, but you don't have any trouble seeing Elvira. She glows in the dark. I have to ask you something, you tell her, but she pulls the pillow over her face. This isn't going to be easy. This is one sleepy ghost. Then you have an idea. You flick on the light again. Elvira sits straight up and lets out a piercing wail. Elvira, you say, I will turn off the light if you'll just answer one tiny question. Then you can sleep as long as you want, I promise. Her eyes begin to glow green again, but she looks very sleepy. Maybe she'll be too tired to hurt you. Who's the most powerful ghost in the graveyard? You blurt out. Elvira blinks a bit. She says, I'd say Melvin Estep's boy. He does tend to rule us with an iron hand. Okay, yeah, that would be the most powerful ghost, I suppose. The Estep boy, you mutter. There are two of them, Melvin 2 and Brandon. Which one? But Elvira doesn't answer. She's fast asleep, and you promised you wouldn't wake her up again. Ah! You always keep a promise. Hurry to page 43. You turn and run out of the room, leaving Elvira snoring peacefully in your bed. So we literally still have to guess, and it's the same guess we would have had to make if we had just gone back to the previous choice. Fine. You're going to have to take a chance on one of the Estep boys, and fast, before the graves move again. Only one letter left before the curse is complete. That's what keeps going through your head. When you reach the graveyard, you're almost out of breath from running up and down the stairs so many times. But the sight that greets you nearly takes your breath away completely. You think you might faint. The graveyard is filled with ghosts. Horrible ghosts. One of them, an old man with long, stringy hair, carries an axe. A woman sobs. A head without a body passes. And then a body without a head. Each ghost is worse than the last. Then you remember the fencing foil in your hands. You raise the sword to fend them off. It works. They float all around the graveyard, but they don't come near you. You run straight for the Estep graves. Which one, Melvin 2 or Brandon? You've got to choose. I'm going Melvin 2. I think that's what the Estep boy implies to me. You plunge your sword into Melvin Estep II's grave. The moment the foil pierces the ground, Melvin Estep II rises up out of the earth. Earth, I can talk. Ooh, really bad choice. He's not the MPG, he's the MHG, the most horrible ghost. As the stinking mist that surrounds him begins to clear, you can see he has no face, just a skull filled with rats. Ew, what? Was that what he was like when he was alive? That doesn't make sense. The squealing rodents pop out. Are they ghost rats? RL, explain. Icky. They run up and down his cheekbones and in through his grinning mouth. He rises up, towering over you. He's huge. You sink to your knees in terror. No, you whimper. He's covered in shredded rags, teeming with bugs. Strips of rotting flesh fall from his skeletal body. He lifts his horrible skull head to the sky and lets out an unearthly moan. Then he fixes his rat-filled eye sockets on you. And then, his bloody hands reach for your throat. Face it, what happens next is too gross, even for you. You better close the book for now and open it again when you think you can survive all the way to the end. I can't believe we have to kill a guy named Brandon. Page 47. You cross your fingers and decide to take a chance on Brandon Estep. You run over to his tombstone and stand in front of it. You hold the sword in both hands like a dagger, with the point down. Your hands tremble so much you're afraid you'll drop the sword. You tighten your grip and take a deep breath. Then you raise the sword above Brandon's grave and prepare to plunge it into the ground. But something stops you. What is it? What happened? You hear a booming crack. In the next instant, the ghost of Brandon Estep rises up out of his grave. Is he the MPG? Have you chosen the right Estep? You peer at Brandon as he floats toward you. He's a young guy wearing a black leather motorcycle jacket with heavy metal spikes and chains and a metal hand. A metal hand? A chill of terror runs through you. This must be him, the most powerful ghost. The ghost with the iron hand. Usually when people say he rules something with an iron fist, they're being metaphorical. I cannot believe he literally has a metal hand. That's deeply funny. And he was like, well, I guess I've got no choice. You raise the foil again, but the ghost lunges at you and grabs your arm with his iron hand. How? Your arm freezes. You can't move. For a moment, you panic. Then you remember what McFarling told you. The date of Sarah's death. It's magic somehow. Did you write down the date like McFarling told you? Good. Then find the date and add up all 4 digits in the year. What's the new number? That's your new page number. Okay. All right. So it's 1940, right? Okay. So it's page 14. Congratulations, you picked the right Sarah.
Am I smart or what?
Sarah McGinnis, born in 1918, died in 1940 at the age of 22. You knew she was the right one because the fencing ghost was a young beauty, so she must have died young. The other Sarah in the graveyard lived to be 75 years old. Very clever of you to figure it out. Thanks! Suddenly you hear her voice. It fills your ears. I am the keeper of the sword, she calls to you from her grave. Let my foil do the work. Let go. Let go. Weird, you think, but you do it. As soon as the foil leaves your hand, it floats in midair and then plunges itself deeply into the earth, into Brandon Estep's grave. Ah! The ghost cries. His shimmering body begins to fade and then disappears back into the earth. I'm sad he didn't say anything. I would have loved to see what voice my head would have come up with that for that one. A ghost named Brandon. Your eyes open wide and your mouth drops open as you gaze at an amazing sight. The coffins are creeping again, back to their original positions. You did it! The curse has been defeated! There's only one problem. Brandon's ghostly body is gone, but his iron fist is still clutching your arm. Oh, no. That's going to make getting in and out of our clothing very difficult. McFarling never told you what to do about an iron hand. Help, you scream, help! But who can help you in a graveyard? You try to yank the metal hand off your arm, but you can't do it. Its grip is too strong. Help, you cry again, but your scream dies in your throat. You're too terrified to make a sound because the hand is moving. The iron fist creeps along your arm. It clutches your flesh so hard you can already feel the bruises. The glinting metal hand travels up to your throat. Horrified, you watch helplessly as the iron fingers open with a clanking sound and then snap around your neck. It's strangling you. You've got to do something fast. That is scary. I'm going to drink because that's scary. Frank's scenario, the Give Yourself Goosebumps books do not typically have like anything I would call a puzzle in them. Occasionally they'll have like a small, like figure it out, blah, blah, blah. But like, this is the most like actual like reasoning stuff out I've had to do in one of these in I think ever. So I'm kind of loving it. The metal hand clutching your throat is squeezing the life out of you. You don't have much time left. Then you see it, the sword. It has lifted itself out of the ground and it's once again floating in midair. The sword helped before. Maybe it can help you again. Stretching your arm as far as you can, you reach for the sword. You nearly topple over, but you manage to grab the handle. Now that you have the sword, you're not sure what to do with it, but you have to do something. The fingers are tightening. You've got to get some space between your throat and the metal fingers. You bring the sword up to your neck. Trying to avoid slicing your own throat, we've already established the sword won't slice our throat. So what's the rules here? You jostle and jiggle the sword through the fingers of the metal hand. Finally, the blade pokes up through the iron fist. The tip is just under your nose. The sword is jammed between your skin and the cold metal of Brandon Estep's hand. The iron hand releases your throat. The sword in the hand clatter to the ground. It's over. Well, maybe not. The moment the sword hits the dirt, you hear a sound, an almost deafening sound. Bong, bong, bong. What is that? Some kind of clock tower? Bong, 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 bong. The chimes strike 12 times. Commit to the bit. Write it out 12 times, RL. Who are we kidding here? Whatever. Bless you. Everyone say bless you to Goose. He just sneezed. And his face was like this when he did it. It was really cute. At exactly midnight, the iron hand and the sword vanish, and your grandmother appears in the doorway of her house. Goose, everyone says bless you. It feels like this RL did not write this one. Egg Bitch in the YouTube chat is positing that this is not an RL one, and I'm inclined to agree. We don't have any of the signifiers here. There are no annoying friends. Nobody slapped a high five. There are actual puzzles, which he does not typically do. I think someone just popped off on this, but it wasn't RL. Goose Sentai is very funny, Jiminy's Journal. Your grandmother appears in the doorway of her house. Why, listen to that, she exclaims. Sorry, I completely forgot what grandma sounds like. Why, listen to that, she exclaims. It's the clock tower in the church. That clock hasn't chimed in years. Really, you say, your eyes growing wide? Your grandmother nods. Not since Brandon Estep died. He crashed his motorcycle in this graveyard. Wild boy. But he loved that clock tower. He helped his father build it. So everyone said Brandon haunted this place, and that's why the clock wouldn't chime. Of course, that's a lot of nonsense. Nonsense? No way, you think. They tried to fix the clock 1,000,000 times, but it never worked. I wonder why it started chiming now. You're pretty sure you know the answer to that. Let's go to page 120. I guess Brandon's ghost is finally at rest, you say. You gaze around and see that the tombstones are all back where they belong. In fact, the whole graveyard looks kind of sleepy and peaceful. Oh, don't be a goose, your grandmother scolds. There are no ghosts. Next you'll be telling me that the ghost of Elmira Martin has taken a nap in your room. Elvira? You'd forgotten about her. But you figured when the ghosts returned to their graves, Elvira probably did too, right? Your grandmother yawns. Come on, she says sleepily. This is way past both of our bedtimes. You and your grandmother go inside. You say goodnight and climb the stairs to your bedroom. What a day, you think, flopping down on the soft bed. Watch it! A familiar voice echoes through the room. A lump under the comforter slowly materializes. Elvira! Don't hog the covers, she snaps. She yanks the blanket under you so hard you roll right out of bed. You've heard of bad roommates, but this is ridiculous. Well, you'll just have to learn to get along, because Elvira is here for eternity. Your days of having your own room have come to an end. Well, that's not a bad ending. It's crazy that, like, she can just stay, though, defying all the rules that fake RL has established. But we did manage to reach a good ending, because we're very clever.
Am I smart or what?
Pretty good. Wait, hold on. It should be this.
Scopa!
There we go. Okay. So, let's find some choices that we could have made and make them different. What happens if we try to grab the sword from Sarah instead of helping her find her beautiful, beautiful head? It doesn't work. She just laughs at you. And then you have to go find the head. Does it take you down a different path? No, it takes you to the moose. Okay. Good to know. She just laughs at you and is like, what are you fucking doing? Which is fair. Okay. All right. If we think it's the Confederate soldier that's the keeper of the sword. Boy, howdy. You decide the enormous Civil War soldier must be the keeper of the sword. You face him and the fencing ghost behind you vanishes. You can't seem to lift your eyes from the sharp blade of the soldier's weapon. Are you the keeper of the sword, you ask him? Your voice trembling. No, he bellows. That's funny. It is always Sarah. It was sexist of us to assume that he was the keeper of the sword, and we're being punished for that. He lunges forward and charges at you. Ah! You scream in terror. You turn and run for your life. Down the stairs, out the front door, into the night. You don't look back, but you don't have to. You can hear the ghostly soldier behind you. His heavy boots thud against the ground. You dash across the front yard toward the road. You manage to put some distance between you and the ghost, but then something grabs your foot. Smack! Your hands hit the gravel at the side of the road as you fall flat on your face. You glance down to see what made you fall, just a gnarled tree root. Prepare to die, the soldier shouts as he stomps toward you. Okay. The Civil War soldier raises his huge sword. You quickly roll out of the way. The sword plunges into the ground. You scramble to your feet and run as the soldier wrestles the blade out of the dirt. Where can you go? What can you do? Your heart pounds as you race down the road toward town. Maybe you can get help. Maybe the police will drive by. Maybe someone besides you will see this Civil War soldier and do something to save you. Maybe not. You see two choices up ahead. There's a small bridge that crosses a narrow river. If you run to the bridge, maybe you can hide under it. You also see a small red barn across the street. It's behind the farmhouse across from your grandmother's house. Another good hiding place. Which is it, the bridge or the barn? Let's go to the bridge. Fuck it. The bridge looks good to you. You can slip down the bank to the river and hide under it. You might be able to sneak around and change directions. Maybe you'll lose a soldier after all. But before you even reach the riverbank, you feel a heavy hand on your shoulder. Halt, traitor, the soldier cries. No, you scream, twisting away. You stumble a bit and lurch forward out of his grasp. You keep running. Finally, you reach the bridge, but the soldier is right behind you. He swings his sword wildly at you as if to cut off your head. No, you cry again, jumping backward. Uh-oh, backward wasn't a good idea. You just leaped off the bridge, and it's a long way down. Ooh, that hurt. You have a 50-50 chance of surviving this fall. It says to throw this book up in the air, and then whatever, if it lands with the front cover facing up, turn to page 105, and if it lands with the front cover facing down, turn to page 69. Nice. We're not going to throw this book because it's full of our bookmarks, but we will throw Under the Magician's Spell, our third place book. Let's see how it, hold on, I'm just going to, It landed facing down. We have to go to 69. Okay. The book lands with the front cover down. Lucky you! 69 is pretty lucky. You survive the fall off the bridge, but don't kid yourself. You're pretty bruised and scratched up. Ow, you moan as you lie on the rocky banks of the river. Mistake. You should not have moaned. Now the soldier knows where you are. In a flash, he jumps off the bridge and towers over at you. Prepare to die, he shouts. Can't this guy think of anything else to say? Then he finishes you off with one thrust of that beautiful mother-of-pearl-handled sapphire-encrusted sword. Hey, don't look so surprised. We said there was a 50-50 chance of surviving the fall. We didn't say anything about surviving the book. The end. What happens if the book landed the other way? Do we just die from the bridge? Okay, so we die either way if we pick the bridge, right? But listen, the book landed with the front cover face up. That means you don't survive the fall from the bridge. Sorry. So now you're a ghost, roaming the neighborhood, haunting everyone in sight. For a while, scaring people's pretty fun. But soon you get tired of people screaming whenever you appear, and some people can't even see you. For some reason, not everyone is able to see ghosts. You begin to understand why the Luckmeyer twins played pranks and practical jokes. It's a goof. So you start doing it too, playing tricks on people. You move their coffee cups when they're not looking. You raise their windows right after they closed them. You wrinkle their clothes while they're ironing them. You steal key pieces from jigsaw puzzles when people aren't looking. Then one day you go too far. You do something really evil. You go through a Give Yourself Goosebumps book with a black felt marker, and you cross out all the page numbers. The only problem is, it was this book, the one you're in, which is why, sad to say, this is really and truly the end. We died from crossing out the page numbers of the book that we exist in. War just said this is one of the few Give Yourself Goosebumps books where you can get a bad ending depending on what day of the week it is. This one's crazy. I kind of love it. This is very meta. Okay, wait. So I'm going to see what happens if we went to the barn instead of the bridge. Obviously, bridge bad no matter what. Don't go to bridges. If I've learned anything from the Vampire Diaries, is bridge is instant death. But we could go to the barn. You race across the lawn and over the hill to the small barn. You swing open the door. Instantly, more than 40 chickens flap down out of the rafters at you. Feathers fly everywhere. Chickens don't live in barns. They live in coops. What are we doing here, RL? Achoo! The feathers tickle your nose. They get in your mouth. You swipe at the downy tufts. The clucking is so loud you cover your ears. Then you cover your head. Ah! You scream. The chickens are swooping toward your hair. Huh? Why are they swooping toward your hair? You've heard that bats will fly at people and get tangled in their hair, but chickens? There's definitely something weird going on with these birds. That's why you keep them in a coop. You give them too much space, they learn how to fly. Get away from me, you shout. You duck and twist, trying to avoid the diving chickens. They squawk and flap their wings. One bird lands on your shoulder. Its claws dig into your clothes. Hey, you yell at it. You try shaking it off, but it clings to you. You notice the other chickens hovering nearby. You reach up to grab the stupid bird, but something stops you. Could it be? Is the chicken smiling at you? You peer closely at the bird. Uh-oh, that chicken isn't smiling. It's baring its teeth. But chickens don't have teeth. And they sure don't have fangs. That's right, fangs. Guess what? These aren't ordinary chickens. These are vampire chickens. And the bird on your shoulder is leaning closer and closer and closer. Chomp! Being bitten by a vampire chicken puts you in a foul mood. Oh well, better cluck next time. The end. Yeah. If you make a wrong choice here, vampire chickens not only exist, but kill you to death. Right to death. incredible. Okay, I'm looking for other. What if I just don't give McFarling $1? What about that? What if I don't give him $1? Maybe your grandmother is right. Maybe this guy can't be trusted. Maybe he's a scam artist. What do you want $1 for? You ask him. But before he can answer, the funky electronic box beeps one more time, real loud. Then all of a sudden, the lid on top flips open and a small plastic hand pops out. Cool, you think? I've seen these things before. It's a gag bank. Your uncle had one, but his used dimes. Sorry, I thought I heard Goose. Sorry. I'm just imagining things. It was a small black plastic box with a slot on top, just like McFarling's gadget. When you put a dime in the slot, a lid would fly open and a plastic hand would pop out. The hand would grab the dime and pull it into the box. It cracked you up. But why is McFarling playing around with a trick bank? You're supposed to be hunting ghosts. Hey, give me $1! Max screams frantically. Before you can answer him, the plastic hand reaches farther out of the box and grabs you by the throat. In the next instant, it pulls you into the box. You don't think your uncle's bank worked like this. Too bad you didn't have $1 when you needed it. The end. Honestly, we made some really solid choices throughout. Like, we had a very good run. Let's see what happens if we go into the attic instead of calling McFarling. Right? McFarling was not a huge help. I would love to know what's going on in the attic. You decide to find out who's making all the noise in the attic. You glance around for something to use as a weapon. Let's see. Your grandmother has doilies, a rocking chair, pillows, not much to choose from. Finally, you pick up a piece of rope that your mom used to tie your suitcase clothes. What? What? She tied our suitcase closed with a piece of rope? What? Is that something that we used to have to do? Okay, whatever. The pounding of heavy feet over your head makes you wonder if you're making a mistake, but you have to find out who or what is in the attic. Slowly, you climb the stairs. Dust from the attic steps stir in the air and makes you sneeze. Achoo! You say loudly. All at once, the stomping stops. The door to the attic bangs open. No! You scream when you see what's standing at the top of the stairs. Sorry to keep you in suspense. I needed a sip of soda. You can't believe your eyes. At the top of the attic stairs... Okay, everyone, it is a ghost, but I need you to right now, for the next minute or so, just guess what kind of ghost you think it is, because I promise you, you're not going to get it. Do not guess if you already know this book. But I need you to be as delighted as I am right now when I tell you what the ghost is. Someone on YouTube has guessed polar bear. I don't know how to say this. You're closer than you might expect. Dog ghost, also pretty close. Okay. Are you ready to find out? Are you ready to be excited? Are you ready to absolutely lose your fucking mind? Okay, get ready. At the top of the attic stairs is a ghost horse! Woo!
You go, girl.
Ghost horse, ghost horse, ghost horse. How did it get up the stairs? Why is it in the attic? A huge wild stallion with its mane flying behind it foam drips from the stallion's mouth. Its eyes are wild with fury. Necroprancer is very funny, Overlord Sailor. The horse backs up a step, then rears up and lets out a terrible, angry cry. Its hooves crash down, clomping loudly on the attic floor. Wait a minute, you think? Was there a horse buried in the cemetery? Then you remember an extra-large grave with a headstone that read, "Here lies glory, too wild for the riders of this world." This was a beloved horse. It was buried in a human cemetery with an extra big grave. That's so good. I'm crying tears, actual tears. I love this horse. I love this horse. Okay. YouTube seems like it's buffering. I can't get anything to work. Oh, now it's working. Okay, fantastic. YouTube was like, "Ghost horse, hold the fucking phone." No kidding, you think? This horse looks like a killer. Quick, you're going to be trampled unless you do something. But what? If you jump on Glory and ride him, turn to page 126. If you use the rope to lasso him, turn to page 54. I want to try to ride him. Maybe I'm the only guy who can tame this horse, you know? As the ghost horse charges at you, you grab his mane and pull yourself onto his back. Yeehaw! Ride him, cowboy! There's only one problem. An instant later, the horse turns left, and a left turn from your grandmother's attic stairway goes only one place, straight through the stairway wall, and then outside. Uh-oh. You grip Glory's mane even tighter and shut your eyes. Okay, makes sense. A ghost horse can ride through walls, but can you? Bam! I guess not. That's why, when you open your eyes again, you're still riding Glory. You and your ghost horse charge through the moonlit sky, as you will, for eternity. It said on his tombstone, Glory was too wild for the riders of this world. But face it, you aren't of this world anymore. Those days have come to an end. You know what? I don't even want to hit the no button. We are eternally riding our beautiful stallion across the world. This is a good ending. Yeah, we died, but look at what we got as a result. This feels like a good ending. This is the horse ending. Like Slutty, thank you for subscribing on YouTube. This is the best ending for sure. No arguments from me. Okay, but what happens if we try to lasso ourselves a horse? We do have our suitcase rope for a reason, after all. You start to swing the rope, hoping to lasso the wild ghost stallion. Are you kidding? Do you know how long it takes to learn how to lasso? And you don't even have that rope tied into the right kind of knot, do you? Admit it. Unless you've grown up on a dude ranch or within 200 miles of a pack of wild stallions, you don't have a flat chance of lassoing this crazed animal. So, if you were born in Colorado, Montana, or Wyoming, turn to page 58. If you were born anywhere else, turn to page 94. All right, chat. Was anyone born in Colorado, Montana, or Wyoming? If any one of you was, we can do this. I'm going to give it a second. On the off chance you know people from there, that's pretty close, Matt Pierce. We did play Shadow Ranch. You went to Colorado once. That's pretty close, CJ. Wow. This is not a geographically varied audience. I thought it was, but it was not. You've camped in all those states. You went to Colorado last year, so CD in the YouTube chat. So Egg Bitch once dated someone from Colorado in the YouTube chat. Gen 1's Canadian. Damn. We are very geographically varied, but not enough to save us here. We've got to be honest. We've got to play honestly. And honestly, it seems like none of us are from Colorado, Montana, or Wyoming. I once got tonsillitis in Montana. Does that count? I had to go to the hospital. It sucked. Okay, I was going to a wedding with a friend. It was his cousin. We went on a road trip to Montana, and we had never been, and it was very fun. But I got really sick on like day 2, and it was like tonsillitis, which I never had before. Like my tonsils were fucked up. I wound up having to go to the hospital in Montana, which is beautiful state, by the way. Great hospital. Tifa Becca, thank you for the follow. Everyone say hello to our new friend, and to Gregory. Stomping your shoes, stomp on our choices and our hearts. Really wonderful road trip. Really wish I hadn't been terribly sick for it, because they prescribed me antibiotics to deal with what was going on. And then the wedding was the next day. So I couldn't drink at the wedding, which was very unfortunate, because the wedding was bad. It was interminably long and boring. All of everything that happened in the ceremony it was the longest ceremony I think I've ever had to sit through. And then I remember very clearly that the maid of honor did her speech in verse. She wrote a poem, and it was a very long poem that just barely rhymed. And I just had to sit there and listen to it with nothing to help me. And that was my memory of Montana. So anyway, okay, so you're not a natural born cowboy. You're just a kid with a dumb rope in your hands and a foaming at the mouth horse about to trample you on the stairs. You wave the rope at the horse, using it like a wimpy whip. You feel so stupid you're surprised the horse doesn't start laughing. But someone does start laughing. You turn around and see a ghostly cowboy floating your way. Worst attempt I've ever seen, the cowboy says. You stare at him with your mouth open. He takes the rope from you. You want to lasso glory? You're going to need some lessons from an expert. Me! The cowboy gives the rope a sharp yank, and flick, it lands around the stallion's neck. Cool, you cheer. Can you show me how to do that? Sure thing, partner, the cowboy answers. Now here's what you have to do. For the next hour, the ghost cowboy teaches you all about lassoing. When you think you're ready, try to lasso glory all by yourself on page 58. Which is the page we would have gone to if we were born in Colorado, Montana, or Wyoming. It all worked out. They aren't punishing us for not being from there. In fact, we're being rewarded by meeting a hot cowboy who taught us how to lasso. Pretty good. Whoosh! The rope snaps through the air with a swish. It flutters over Glory's head. The ghost stallion rears up with an angry whinny. You flick your wrist and give the rope a sharp yank. Bingo! You did it. Talk about a heavy-duty lasso. Glory snorts and stamps his hooves, nearly lifting you off the ground, but you hang on. Using all your strength, you drag the ghost horse down the stairs. You pull him into the den where your grandmother is watching television. Grandma, look, you shout. I've roped a ghost horse. Your grandmother gazes up from her television program and gives you a warm smile, and then eyes the ghost horse. Now, don't expect me to fall for that, she says. If I know all about the gizmos you kids have these days... Or I know all about the gizmos you kids have these days. What is that, some kind of hologram or video game? See, I'm up to date. Hologram? Video game? Is she nuts? With a twinkle in her eye, your grandmother reaches for the TV remote control and aims it at the horse. She pushes a button. Showers of sparks shoot out of the remote. A cracking boom shakes the house. What has your grandmother done? Leave my horse alone! When the dust settles, you are stunned by what you see. Glory, the ghost stallion, has doubled in size. He was already a pretty big horse. Neat trick, your grandmother says. That's quite a gadget. She gets up and heads for the kitchen. I'm going for a soda, she tells you. Want one? No thanks, you stammer. Giant horse. Giant horse. The giant horse towers over you, pawing the rug. What button did you push? You shout to your grandmother. Oh, I don't know, she calls back. I think it was the one that turns up the sound. Okay, you think. Maybe if I turn the sound down. Your finger hovers over the volume button. You hesitate. What if pushing the button will make the horse bigger? What if more ghost horses appear? Got a better idea? You push the volume button down. To your amazement, it works. The horse grows smaller. Hey, cool. You push the volume button down again. Like magic, the ghost horse grows even smaller. Wow, you shout. You start pushing other buttons on the TV remote control. You can hardly wait to see what will happen. Unbelievably, when you press the channel button, the one that moves up to the next channel, the ghost horse changes into something else, a ghostly kung fu master. It's not as cool. When you press the button again, the kung fu ghost changes into the ghost of an Egyptian pharaoh. This is amazing, you exclaim. Then you press it one more time. Uh-oh, big mistake. Well, yeah, you already got rid of your ghost horse. That was your first mistake. This time, the remote control changes the Egyptian pharaoh king into a Neanderthal man. You recognize him from all the science books at school. Big hairy guy, slumped shoulders, long arms, huge wooden club. Huge wooden club? Yup, and he's swinging it at your head. Think fast! If you change the channel again, turn to page 111. If you try the mute button, turn to page 78. Now that's interesting. I would like to change the channel again, but I'm marking the page. You press the button to change the channel again. Unfortunately, you've run out of channels. Even with DirecTV, a satellite dish, and all the cable channels in the universe combined, you can only go so far. Then you hit the end of the line. That's simply not true! 257,000 channels and nothing on. So when you press the button for a higher channel, nothing happens. The Neanderthal man doesn't change into anything. You know what that means? It means you've been hit in the head with a big ugly club. Ow, that hurts. And he's taking aim again. We should have just put the channel down, back to the horse. What's wrong with us? That's not how any of this works. Oh well, that's what you get for trying to survive this ugly episode by pushing buttons. Seriously, didn't it ever occur to you to just duck? The end. Okay, we're gonna try the mute button. Yes, it loops, exactly. That's simply not how it works. RL. Okay. Ducking wasn't an option. Exactly. They're scolding me for something that wasn't an option. You press the mute button. Instantly, the Neanderthal man disappears. Whew, close one, you think? Then you have an idea. You press the mute button again. Yep, it works just as you thought it would. The ghost of the Neanderthal reappears. When you press it again, he disappears. You can keep switching back and forth. Now you see him, now you don't. Needless to say, this is a cool toy. You and your grandmother play with it for a few days. Then you call the local newspapers. They come out and write a story about you. Pretty soon you're famous. Every computer game company in America and Japan wants to buy your invention, the amazing remote-controlled hologram machine. You tell them the truth. You have no idea how it works. But for $10 million, they can have the remote and the house, and they can try to figure it out for themselves. When the deal is made, you leave the remote and the house behind. You sold your grandmother's house. Where does your grandmother live now? There is still one more remote in your future, a remote island in the South Pacific. That's where you and your grandmother fly off to. Why? Just in case the company figures out you've sold them a house full of ghosts. The end. The curse isn't our problem anymore. We're in the South Pacific. The curse is Mr. Nintendo's problem now.
You go, girl.
That felt like a good ending to me. We didn't buy an island with $10 million. We just went to an island with $10 million. That's different. Okay. Let's see. What happens if we race out of the house fast and try to go home? It doesn't seem like it's an insta-death. Okay, it's not an insta-death. We're going to do that, and then we'll probably call it quits after this particular branch, just because I really don't want to lose my voice by doing this for too much longer, but also because if I read the entire thing, that's when we start bordering on copyright infringement, and I don't want to do that either. So if you race out of the house fast and go home, turn to page 30. You decide to get out of your grandmother's house on the double. Grandma, you say, I don't feel well. In fact, I think I'm getting really sick. I think I should go home. But dear, your grandmother says, you can't go home, not with your parents away on vacation. Well, it was worth a shot. You swallow hard and glance over to where the ghost was standing. She's gone. Maybe you were imagining things. Maybe the gravestones aren't moving. Maybe you really are sick. The best thing to do is go to your room and lie down. You climb the stairs to the second floor, but as you reach the door to your room, you freeze. There in the doorway is a terrifying sight. A ghost fills the doorway, but this ghost isn't just a filmy version of a live human being. This ghost isn't like Alvara Martin. This ghost is hideous. His whole face is grayish blue. His tongue and eyes bulge out. He looks as if he died while being choked. Then his bluish hands reach out for you. That does it. No way are you staying in this creepy haunted house for another minute. You run back downstairs to your grandmother. You beg, you plead, you cry. Then you pull out every trick in the book, even the one where you fake a high fever by putting the thermometer on a light bulb. Eventually, your grandmother gives in. She calls your parents. They cut short their vacation, come pick you up, and take you home. They're pretty steamed at you, but you don't care. At least you've gotten away from that haunted house. You flop down on the bed in your room. That's when you feel something poking you. Something in your bed. You sit up and stare at your blanket. It's sliding around on the bed all by itself. Oh no! Your heart races as you scoot away from the moving blanket. You press your back up against the wall. Something bumps into your foot, then your knee. Ow! Something invisible pinched you. Little by little, this something begins to appear. At first, it's only a ghostly head, the head of a boy. He's about 12 years old, and he's grinning at you. Surprise, he says, as his body, arms, and legs begin to materialize in front of you. He looks almost solid, but not quite. Who are you? Where did you come from? You finally blurt out. Wouldn't you like to know, he says. Then he floats over to the window and gestures toward your family's car in the driveway. Bumpy ride, wasn't it? Bumpy ride? Oh no! He hitched a ride with you from your grandmother's house. You've got to do something to get rid of this ghost. But what? And who's going to help you? If you choose your best friend to help you, turn to page 73. If you choose your worst enemy to help you, turn to page 56. That's wild. Obviously we should pick our best friend, but worst enemy is very interesting, and we're going to mark that and check it out after. You decide you need your best friend's help. So you call Robin. He lives only 2 houses away. Without even a goodbye to your mom and dad, you zoom out the front door. You run to Robin's house as fast as you can. Hi, Robin says. That was fast. What's up? You're not going to believe me, you warn him. Try me, Robin says, tossing 3 juggling balls in the air. Incredible prop work. Robin has been trying to learn to juggle for 6 months. He just can't get the hang of it. My grandmother's house is haunted, you explain quickly. The coffins in the graveyard behind the house were creeping around. The ghosts escaped from their graves and one of them followed me home. Robin stares at you as if you're crazy. He lets all 3 balls drop to the floor with a thud, thud, thud. Yeah, sure. Right, he says sarcastically. A moment later, all 3 juggling balls rise up from the floor. To your amazement, they start juggling themselves. Then one of them flies right at Robin and hits him in the face. This is crazy. Is this a totally different branch? Ow, Robin cries out. His hand flies up to his cheek where the juggling ball hit him. Your mouth falls open. This is terrible. The ghost must have followed you down the street. Why did you do that? Robin yells. That really hurt. I didn't do it, you reply. It was that ghost. Robin stares at the juggling balls. They're just lying on the floor now. The ghost is nowhere in sight. Yeah, right, Robin says. Like I'm really going to believe in ghosts. Come on, how'd you do that? Before you can answer, there's a knock on Robin's bedroom door. He walks over and opens it. Yikes, he screams. Floating in the doorway in midair is a long, sharp carving knife. It's pointed right at Robin's heart. You jump back, trying to make room for Robin. He's backing up faster than a pizza delivery guy who's missed the address. But the knife keeps coming anyway. Quick, you have to do something to help him. You spot a baseball bat in the corner of the room. Good choice, if you have good aim. But there's also a huge needlepoint pillow on Robin's bed. One that his mother made for him. Maybe you should use it as a shield. Choose your weapon. If you use the baseball bat, turn to page 35. If you use the pillow as a shield, turn to page 46. Whoa. This is a hell of a choice. I'm going to turn to page 46. Pillow as a shield. I don't have very good aim. The knife floats toward you and Robin. Quickly, you grab the needlepoint pillow. You hold it in front of you like a shield. Are you crazy? You're going to use that pillow? The one Robin's mother lovingly needle-pointed for him? The one that took her 74 hours of finger-aching work to complete? You're going to use it to block an attack from a knife? Maybe. I mean, I don't think she wants him to get stabbed, though, right? Oh dear, we're talking serious bad judgment here. The pillow, of course, is ripped to shreds, but that's just the beginning. Just the first of many bad decisions you make in your life. For instance, a few weeks later, you're at a picnic. You drop a blueberry muffin onto a big red anthill. Fire ants swarm up all over the muffin, and you decide to pick it up and eat it anyway. Your mother gives you $100 for your birthday. A beggar asks you for a quarter, but you don't have any change, so you tear off a piece of the $100 bill and give it to him instead. When you grow up, you win a TV game show. The prize is a new car. But the car is blue, and you hate the color, so you say no thanks and give it back. Well, that's actually fine. You should always do that. You should always take the cash prize instead because they're going to tax you on it regardless. This is foolish. That's not actually a mistake. See the problem? Of course, none of this will happen if you can learn how to choose more carefully. So it sends you back to page 100 to pick better. That's crazy. RL, you're teaching kids the wrong lessons. So, baseball bat, 35. It is rule of cool in these books, to be honest. Help! Robin screams as the knife drifts toward him. Oh no, right beside the floating knife is the ghost boy. You grab the baseball bat and take a swing. The bat goes right through the ghost's see-through body. He laughs as if you tickled him. Unfortunately, the bat comes out the other side of him and smashes right into Robin's desk lamp. Oops! The lamp flies off the desk and smashes onto the floor. What was that? A woman's voice calls from the hallway. Uh-oh, Robin's mom is on the way. This is crazy. Is this a whole other branch? Did we accidentally find the big branch? This is not something my voice can do. Robin's mom is furious when she sees the broken lamp. How furious? Let's just say you and Robin will be mowing lawns for a long time to pay for it. But the good news is the ghost seems to have vanished. Maybe Robin's mom scared him off. You weren't kidding, Robin says. There really is a ghost. I tried to tell you, you say to him. Listen, can I sleep over? The ghost is probably back at my house just waiting to get me. No problem, Robin tells you. You'll be a lot safer here. Don't bet on it. Turn to page 89. So far, everything seems normal, just like all the other times you spent the night at Robin's. In fact, you and Robin are having a great time. Even Robin's older brother, Lark, is less obnoxious than usual. Yeah, Robin and Lark. Robin's last name is Birdsey. His parents like cute stuff like that. Robin and Lark Birdsey? Come on! That's crazy. You can't do that to your kids. My God, Lark? Okay. Lark is having a sleepover party. His friends are in the 8th grade, and they think they're way cool. And they are, until 9 o'clock, when suddenly all the lights in the house go out. Hey, Lark yells at you and Robin. Quit playing with the circuit breakers, you little twerps, or else. Uh-oh. You didn't touch the circuit breakers. Neither did Robin, and his parents aren't home. Who's left? That's right, the ghost. And all the lights are out. What now? If you're afraid of the dark, turn to page 83. If you're okay in a pitch black house, turn to page 19. I'm not afraid of the dark. I'm an adult. I'm going to page 19. It's pitch black in the house, but you're okay. You're not totally freaked out by the dark. Not yet, anyway. I mean it, Lark yells. You two are going to get it if you don't turn those lights back on, and I mean now. You and Robin stand frozen in the kitchen. But before you can even move toward the circuit breaker box, the lights pop back on. Whoa! Oh, man! You hear Lark and his friends yelling. You hurry to the family room. That's where Lark and his buddies were watching a movie on TV. You peek in the door. What a sight! Popcorn all over the floor, drinks spilled on the rug, couch cushions tossed all over the room. Lark spots you in the doorway. He glares at you and Robin, then lunges toward you. His hands reach straight for your throat. Oh my God! Everyone's trying to strangle us in this book. They shouldn't. You turn and run from Lark, but he's gaining on you, and his friends have joined the chase. Let's get those little creeps, Lark's friends are shouting. You and Robin are skidding around a corner when you hear a voice whisper in your ear. I'll help you on one condition. You have to promise to do whatever I ask tomorrow. It's the ghost boy. You can't see him, but you hear his offer. What are you going to do? If you accept the ghost's offer, turn to page 52. If not, turn to page 59. This seems like a bad deal. I'm not going to take this offer. I say, no way. No way, you say. Okay, that's great. I'm not making a deal with a ghost. Fine, the ghost boy says. You're on your own. He vanishes. maybe this wasn't such a great idea. Lark and his friends catch up with you easily. What happens next isn't pretty. By the time Lark and his friends are done, you and Robin are a mess. You're lying in the damp grass in Robin's front yard. You're bruised from being tackled. Your t-shirt and jeans are grass-stained. Your hair is a tangled nest. Lark used both sets of knuckles to give you noogies. Oh, Robin fumes. I could strangle him. No, you couldn't, you reply. You're not big enough. In fact, he strangled us. True, Robin admits, but we've got to do something to get back at him. I wish that ghost would come back. Maybe you could scare the living bazookas out of my stupid brother. No sooner has Robin said the words when the ghost appears. You rang, the ghost says with a sly smile. Jesus, we can't get rid of this guy. The ghost floats toward you and sneers in your face. Do I take it you're finally ready to make a deal? The ghost asks. Robin stares open-mouthed at the ghost. This is the first time he's actually seen the ghost in the flesh, or rather, almost flesh. For a moment, Robin can't speak. He just watches the airy creature floating around under the street lamplight. Then Robin starts to smile. Cool, Robin says. Totally cool. You want my services, the ghost goes on, to scare those guys, and in exchange, I want your promise. You must agree to do anything I ask of you tomorrow. Deal, Robin says. I don't know, you reply. What if he asks us to do something wrong? Something like illegal? Robin shakes his head and leans over to you. Then we just won't do it, he whispers. Come on, don't you want to get back at Lark? Well, do you? No, I'm still going to refuse. I'm not making a deal with a fucking ghost. No deal, you decide. You're not going to make a bargain with a ghost. You wouldn't even make a deal like that with your mom. Promise to do whatever she wants. You might end up raking leaves and washing her car for a year. No thanks, you tell the ghost. No deal. I don't make promises I can't keep. The ghost smiles at you. A nice smile. For the first time since you met him, he seems genuinely friendly. That's what I wanted to hear, the ghost says. That you wouldn't make a promise unless you really meant it. I've been looking for someone honest like you for a long time. Then the ghost reaches into his pants pocket. He pulls out a gold coin. Take this, he says, handing it to you. Promise me you'll never spend it. That coin will bring you good luck as long as you never sell it, spend it, or give it away. Make sure you're not buried with the coin. Otherwise, your spirit will never rest. Like me, you'll be forced to roam the earth, looking for someone to give it to. You take the coin from him and he sighs with relief. Then the ghost boy vanishes completely, and you never see him again. The end. Hold on. Uh-oh. We've got some bots happening right now. Do we have any mods in chat that are able to ban certain words? Or do I have to do this right now? If we have no mods in chat, that is very unfortunate timing. One sec. We have a couple of them. Okay, host hub seems to be the word that we need to ban. Okay, let me just deal with this really fast. Sorry, guys. I don't want a bunch of them coming in, and it does seem like we had two at once. So I'm going to get into my moderation and just take care of that really quickly. I can't believe that these bots are upstaging the fact that we just helped that ghost find peace. Let's see. Blocked terms and phrases. Host hub. Add. There we go. Okay, cool. I think that's a great place to stop because my voice probably could use it, but also because it really does feel like that was a good ending. We got permanent good luck forever as long as we're not buried with the coin. That seems great. And we let that boy child rest and finally have peace. I mean, how lucky could he have been? He died as a small child. Doesn't matter. We're keeping his coin forever. Okay. This was great. I thank you all so much. This has been a lot of fun. I'm sorry that I can't read more. I really do have to just I can feel my voice starting to go and I can't let it. I have a lot of stuff coming up this week that I simply need my voice for. So I really appreciate you all. There's one more bot to get. Oh, yeah, I see. Sorry, I did miss that one. I apologize. I only saw the 2 of them. Okay. Well, hopefully that'll do it now that we've banned the word. So, this was a wonderful stream. I had a great time. I hope you all did too. I want to say a big shout out to YouTube again for being here for the first time. I'm going to start multi-streaming on YouTube every time I do stream. So if you're on YouTube, be sure to watch for my streams, which go live at 5 p.m. Pacific time on weekdays, noon on weekends. Thank you everybody on Patreon who voted for the book that we read. This was a lot of fun. I had not read this one. We had vampire chickens. We had ghost horses. We had a Confederate soldier. We had a sexy French sword fighter. And if we want to do something fun like this again next month, we just have to reach our egg fund goal. The book really did deliver. I was very happy with this one, and I'm curious to read more of it at another time. Big fan. And then also the link to my Discord right there for announcements and things of this nature. Okay. I think that is all I got. Thank you everyone for being here today. Thank you to those of you who subscribed, who followed, who just hung out and watched and were in the chat and weren't bots. That was cool of you. I am going to go drink some hot tea right now so that my voice recovers. And I am going to see you all real soon. I will likely be taking tomorrow off just to give myself a little bit of rest from talking for 2 hours nonstop and doing voices and stuff. It just does put a strain on it lately. So I'm not going to be back tomorrow, but I'll be back on Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. And that will be our Patreon picks. So if you're at the $2 and up tier, you'll be able to vote on what we play on Monday. 5 p.m. Pacific time. Hope to see you there. You're all the best. The bee's knees. And you look really nice today. And I know that because I can see you through the monitor. Okay. Let's see if there's anyone that we can raid right now. Okay. All right. I'm looking. There isn't. Well, in that case, I'm just going to say farewell and may you ride your ghost horse for eternity. Goodbye.